the Lillis. I just got to say, Lillis just absolutely annihilated me on the bowling.
Oh, yes! Oh!
That's right. Oh, one down. You're a ringer, Steve. You've done bowling before. You told me you hadn't played.
Yeah. Shall I have another one?
Go on. Lillis! He's got the bug, hasn't he?
Now I just changed lanes.
He's got the bug on the lane switch.
Oh, terrible.
Right, I've got to drag you away from the bowling a little bit. I want to talk to you a little bit about ZEPEDA. Jose ZEPEDA, he's here today. We had a good chat with him today. What did you make of him?
Well, I haven't seen him train, but very impressive character, isn't he? You know, speaks very, very well. He's almost like, I was saying to Richard Maynard, that he's almost like one of these American sportsmen you speak to who are media trained. Yeah. He's got an answer for everything. He's fluent. He thinks before what he says. Really intelligent man. And you know, you obviously he's an intelligent fighter. I've only, like most people, have only seen clips from him on YouTube. And what's most impressive about him is that he can switch from orthodox to southpaw naturally. 1 minute he's southpaw, next second he's orthodox, then he's back to southpaw, whipping in a southpaw left hook and knocking opponents out. You know, he's very, very heavy-handed. And I know he's been at Arnie's gym, and obviously, he's not going to be doing a lot in his final week of training. But they've been very impressive what they've seen in that gym, and you just saw the camp around him. Very professional people. Robert Alcazar, his trainer, did great work with Edwin Valero and Oscar De La Hoya. It's obviously he comes from a very good setup, but there again, they say he's near the weight, but it's the first time he's ever fought outside light welterweight. He's come down in weight. He says the first time he's ever gone to a doctor and had a diet, but it's still a big ask for him, like it is for Terry Flanagan this weekend.
I mean, what do you think Terry Flanagan's got to do to get the upper hand in this fight? Looking at ZEPEDA tactically, what do you think Terry Flanagan's got to do to impose himself on this?
I think Terry's got to do just, be patient. Maybe even let the early rounds go, because we've seen his record, how dangerous he is early. Is it 16 of his 23 wins inside 3 rounds? Something like that, James. Anyway, it's very impressive statistics. I think Terry's got to cover up, and for them early rounds, maybe let them go a little bit. And the longer the fight goes on, I think it becomes Terry's territory. We saw against Stephen Orman that Terry's engine keeps going and going and going.
Super fit Terry.
Super fit. He's a pressure fighter, and I think the longer the fight goes on, the better his chances become. It's certainly, it's a tough fight for Terry to win, but it's also a tough fight for ZEPEDA to win. It is one of those great pick and world title fights. You look at the odds of the bookies. I think Terry's a very, very slight favourite. I was looking this morning. It is one of those, but I think Terry, the big thing for Terry is to take no chances in the early rounds, and as they even concede them, and just to cover up and let him see what he can do, how he switches, how often he does it. Just do that, because this guy, is decent. That there's no doubt about. I'm not saying he's the second coming of Edwin Valero. He's got an impressive knockout record, but that's the secret, I think, for Terry, not to take chances early on. And don't panic if he's behind going into the second half of the fight.
You mentioned as well how Jose ZEPEDA's not fought out of his own environment, if you like. He's not travelled, but speaking to him today, he seemed very calm, very collective. He seems quite a together young man, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, that's been in the camp he's got with Robert Alcazar. You've got to remember, people forget, the big part Alcazar played in De La Hoya's career. I think he was a truck driver or something, and in 1992, what Robert did, he quit his day job to take Oscar De La Hoya to the Olympics. He was then professional until Oscar had a couple of losses, but then, we know when Oscar started losing fights, he inevitably blamed the trainer. The camp had Edwin Valero he trained. So, he's a really top trainer he's got in his corner as well.
10 years since Ricky Hatton beat Costa Zoo. The Manchester public are going to be behind Flanagan. How important do you think that can play a part in lifting him, maybe winning him them tight rounds?
Hey, of course, James. We was in Ireland the other day for the Jamie Conlon fight against Junior Grandos. Now, when he went down for the second time in the 7th round, when he banged his fist with bang the canvas with both gloves. Everybody in that arena saw him do that. He got up, the bell rang, he come out and won the last 3 rounds. Just because that crowd in Dublin, I say Belfast anyway, that crowd in Dublin was the second man in the ring. So I'm still excited about that fight the other night.
Because he's from Belfast as well, sometimes I'll slip into saying that as well.
The Belfast man there in Dublin, they all got behind him, and that last 3 rounds, the crowd lifted him. Now, there was 2,500 that sold out the arena the other night. It was like there was 10,000 in there.
Spine-chilling moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, and if this crowd in Manchester can make it the same on Saturday night, particularly down the home stretch when it could well be a close fight, that could make all the difference to Terry. Now, we know Jose hasn't fought outside of America before, and he says he's not bothered by it, but you saw the other night on BoxNation how much a crowd can lift a man.
Indeed we did. Well, listen, I don't want to interrupt your busy day of bowling, whatever it is you do when you're meant to be working. We'll catch you again real soon.
Thanks very much.